Okay, today I'm going to be showing you how to write the Phoenician alphabet. So here you can see we have the name of the letter and then its Latin, Arabic, and Hebrew equivalents. So let's get started. The first letter is Aleph or Aleph, and it's pretty simple. Sometimes you see it more kind of slanted, and sometimes you see it kind of with a totally vertical line like that. Next we have bet or bait, which can look like this, or it can be a little less straight, like that. Next we have next we have gimel, and it looks like this. Next we have dalet, which can be kind of just like this triangle, or it can be a little more like this. Next we have he, which is basically kind of like a backwards E. And then we have wow, which almost looks like the letter Y. It makes a W or an U sound, much like the Arabic letter Waw and the Hebrew Vav. And it can look like this Y shape or kind of like this more cursive Y shape. Next we have Zane, which also comes in kind of two variants. This kind of capital letter I looking form, and this sort of more familiar Z. That's kind of what I find really interesting about the Phoenician alphabet is it really is kind of the precursor to all of these other writing systems, and it's at this interesting point where you can see the similarities between Phoenician and Latin letters that we use every day here in North America, for example. And if you studied Arabic or Hebrew, you'll also notice similarities to those writing systems, which, you know, on their own, you might not think of the writing systems as related, but, you know, when you get to look at their kind of grandfather, it's kind of cool. So after Zane, we have hate, which we transliterate with this H with a dot under it. We think it probably made some kind of H or Ch sound. And it looks like this. Coincidentally, it kind of looks like the Chinese character for the sun. And it can also look like this. I'm just trying to show kind of the standard Unicode font versions, and then also these other variants that you might come across. Next is Tate, which we transliterate with a T with a dot under it, to represent that it's an emphatic T. So not T, but more like T, like the Arabic letter Ta. Yeah, my Hebrew handwriting's not so great, so sorry about that. And it can look like this, or it can look more like this. And next is Yod. It makes a Y or E sound. And it kind of looks like a backwards F in sometimes, or in the Unicode font you'll see it more like a Z with this extra line. Next we have the letter Cap, which makes a K sound. Let me move this up a little so you can see better. And this one's interesting. It really just looks like a backwards letter K. And sometimes maybe a little more slanted like this. Next we have Lamedh, which makes an L sound. And you can kind of see how all of these ones are related, right? So we're about halfway done. And the next letter is Mem, which made an M sound, M. And it looks like this. I find this one interesting because it kind of looks like a backwards letter C in Arabic, which is a little counterintuitive. Noon is next. It makes an N sound. That one can easily be mistaken for a Hebrew letter, Lamedh, so be careful if you're, used to Hebrew. Next is Samekh, which we transliterate with this S with an acute accent over it. And it can be written like this, or like this. And interestingly, so I put the Arabic equivalent as Shin, but there's no Arabic equivalent really of this. This letter just somehow didn't make it into Arabic, but you can find it in a lot of other Semitic writing systems. Next we have Ayin. It's like a back of the throat kind of sound. We transliterate with this kind of like backwards apostrophe that kind of opens to the right, or in the International Phonetic Alphabet with this kind of backwards question mark without a dot. And it's just a circle. Next we have Pe. I put the Arabic equivalent as fat because that's what it's etymologically related to, but it makes a P sound, so I also put the Persian P there. And once again, my Hebrew handwriting is not great, so sorry again. And it basically looks like this. It's kind of like I don't know, I think of it as kind of a candy cane shape. Next we have Salde, an S with a dot under it, and so that's an emphatic S. That sound can be difficult for English speakers to master. I know I struggled with it, / I still do sometimes speaking Arabic. Actually in Hebrew it makes the sound tsa, but it's etymologically related to this emphatic sl sound. Next you have qop, which we transliterate with a Q, and it kind of looks like a Q, and it represents this this far back in the throat q sound, which is a uvular stop. Then we have Resh, which is an R sound. It's R. We write it with an R. And it can look kind of like this kind of little flag, or it can kind of have this more like angular 9 kind of shape. We're almost done. We've just got 2 letters left. There's Shin, which makes a sh sound. We transliterate it with this S with a little hat. And the Arabic equivalent we can think of as Sin or Sheen, really, and Shin in Hebrew. And it kind of looks like a W. And you can see the resemblance between this and the Arabic and Hebrew equivalents. It's not always an even W like that. It can kind of be more like uneven like that. And then finally we have Tau, which is related to the ta and tha of Arabic, and you know, Tau in Hebrew as well. And sometimes it looks like an X, and sometimes it looks more like this almost perfect Latin T. And that's the whole alphabet.